Hello and welcome back to another Space Engineers Showcase video. In today's video, we're looking at another mech, and this one is one of the most stable mechs I've ever used. This right behind me is the GTC-m DA-1 klangsuit, which is this lovely thing over here. So this is a well-armed mech where you can partially rotate the body horizontally and vertically, and we've got these lovely feet down here which make it incredibly stable to walk around. We are using a mech walking script, so we don't have to press anything extra. We simply hold forwards on the keyboard and your mech will start walking. Anyway, I'll show you that a bit later. Coming over to here and pressing F10, finding it in the spawn menu. The Klang suit is 125 small blocks using none of the DLC packs and no mods. We can see here a little bit of information about it where it says is a bipedal walker and the person did not create the script and to enjoy it. So simply give this a thumbs up, move all the way around towards the very front here. My character can now bugger off into the distance, there we go. We'll have a quick look around the outside and then we'll drive it around for a bit to see what it can do and then send it down a mountainside. So all the way over to here at the very front, this is what we get. So front and center, what we've got is a glass window piece setup with some armored panels right below it. This is going to be your frontal protection while sitting in that seat. If you were to look all the way behind it, that is what we get. So we've got small little feet covers, and then the rest of that just to absorb any kind of shots coming towards you. If you were just to drop down just a little bit, that's what we can see. So we've got JackRPG right underneath, so we can control it in an emergency. Then there is our rotor that comes onto our steel blocks. That comes onto two sets of hinges, then all the way down to the ground, where we've got these lovely steel blocks with wheels on it, acting as our feet. So the steel blocks are actually quite thick. As you can see there, we do have a wheel suspension block. Then we've got some steel blocks and another wheel, making it a very big surface, which is how it's so stable. If it was just to drop down and over to here, we've got essentially like a high heel setup. Might be able to make out with all the grass here, but that's how it's been done at the back, so we are angled slightly to try and help it from tipping over if you're on an uneven surface. Anyway, all the way up the side, this is what we get over here. So these are our weapons, where we've got ourselves rocket launchers, autocannons, and Gatling guns. So on this side, we've got our autocannon, and on the opposite, we've got our Gatling gun, but that's how that's been set up. We can see another rotor and hinge setup, which is how we're going to move up and down and left and right. And we've got some lovely grey and red steel blocks. All the way over to here at the cockpit, that's simply what we've got. And dropping down, we can simply see the rotor of how the legs are going to move. And if we were to come all the way around towards the very back here, this is what we get. So there is our programmable block, which is going to be how this mech is going to walk around. All the way up to here, got another programmable block, which is using a auto-leveling script, which I believe is why both of the JackRPG, so the one at the back here and the one all the way down to here, is sitting on a rotor. I believe that's how it's keeping itself nice and stable, but I'm not too sure because I'm not too familiar with that script. But anyway, continuing at the back here, we've got two atmospheric thrusters just to help this thing out while moving up a hill. Then we can see how the rocket launcher has been attached on the left and right hand side. Then in between our atmospheric thrusters, we've got two reactors to give this thing a little bit of power. If you were to come all the way up and look down, that's how that's been set up. So there's the rotors and hinges on the side there. It is a little bit wonky because I have been playing around with this. Then coming all the way down and underneath it, there we go, past all the grass, that is the surface area of our feet. So yes, this thing is very, very stable. And that is a very brief look around the outside of the GTC-m DA-1 klangsuit, and does look fantastic with how it's all been set up. But now what I can do is just grab hold of my character and show you what this thing can do, because it is very impressive. All the way over here and ignoring whatever just spawned in the distance, just hopping into this, there we go. Got a few controls to go through, but ignoring that for the moment, what I'm going to do is simply hold forwards on the keyboard. And that is how it goes, so the feet take a little bit to get going. That's how our feet are walking around there. It's very, very stable, like I said. Unlike some mechs, we're not going to be fighting for control. We don't need to do anything with that. I'm simply holding forwards and it's doing everything by itself. There we go. And if I want to come to a stop, I simply let go and it'll very slowly come to a stop, then put itself back into a standby position all by itself. And now we're ready to hop out and go away. But for the rest of the hotbar, this is what we get. Number 1 is nothing. I'm not too sure what that block is meant to be. Number 2, 3, 4, and 5 is how we're going to rotate and lift up and down our arms on the side. So if I was to press number 3, we now rotate it that way. Then if I was to press number 2, we now rotate it that way. If I was to bring it all the way back, there we go. In fact, it's a little bit wonky, that'll have to do for the moment. Now pressing 4 and 5, this is what we get. So doing that, we now go all the way up. Then pressing that, we now move it all the way down. There we go. The number 6, 7, and 8 is simply for our weapons, so clicking them, then mouse clicking, that's our autocannon, there's our cannon gun, and there is our rocket launchers. Coming to tab number 2, 3, and 4, we got nothing else, so coming back to first person view, this is what we get while looking around. So it is a little bit hard to get these guns back to their original position and shoot them straight, so that I'll have to do. Looking in third person view and just firing them forwards, that's what we get. Is a little bit wonky, so hopefully that'll be quite nice. There we go. Then just walking around, and here we go. So now we can go and fire our autocannon on the side there. We can now raise this up and down if we need to. And we can switch to the Gatling gun to shoot stuff with that. And here we go, just spawned in a large rover in front. I'm now going to adjust the aim of this. There we go, that should do quite nicely like that. That seems about in range. And now we can start blasting it. Undo that and just rotate it around just a little bit. Switch to the rocket launchers. There we go, that's a nice lot of damage. We can now start to raise this up just a little bit more. Might be a bit too high there. I can now switch to the Gatling guns in third person view. That's what that looks like. Then just coming back to the autocannons, we're now going to start shooting at that hydrogen tank at the back there. Like last time, it should do a massive explosion when it goes. Just switch over to this for the moment. That's a little bit high. And there we go, it's now starting to collapse. I'm going to need to lower the aim just a little bit. And it's starting to get foggy, but we'll leave that in there for now. Yes, we now need to adjust the aim just a little bit. We need to lower it down. We need to turn it tiny bit over to that side. There we go. Back into third person view. That's what we're getting. And there goes the hydrogen tank, which is what I was expecting, which is what I was waiting for. And now we can just run away from this before we get hit by lightning. And there we go. That's pretty much it for the GTC-m DA-1 klangsuit. It's bloody fantastic with how it's all been set up. Now the only thing I can think of is just driving it off a cliff and just letting it roll away to its destruction. And here we go, we're now about to go over the edge. I'm going to have to use the jetpack over here just to lift us up just a little bit. There goes one of the legs. Ooh, looks like we sort of got a bit clangy and pinged onto one of those rocks. It's still trying to drive, it's still trying to keep itself nice and level. We are coming down here quite nicely. Just use the jetpack just a little bit more. Down we come, we're gaining a lot of speed here. 30, 40, 50 meters per second. We are charging down this mountainside. And the legs are still going. Can I stop it in time? We now hit 100 meters per second. Here we go, straight to the ground. And that is that for the mech. So it's a bloody fantastic mech if you are looking for one to use in your world. There'll be a link to it in the description below if you do wish to download and play around with it yourself. Highly recommend you do. And I'll be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.